Beloved souls. All right, we have. We're gonna be giggling the whole time. I have a special treat for you all, so be prepared. I have my son, my sunshine, here with me today. We're gonna talk about, raise the vibration and self love. That's what this channel is all about. About how you can make choices in your daily life to raise your vibration and to always practice self love.
Yes.
So we're going to. I brought him on because we had a question from Christina P. So shout out to Christina for sending in a question about community resolution. Um, and I wanted to bring it from this perspective because we have lived in community settings, community living, intentional living settings for about 6 years now. Prior to this year, this is the first year where we haven't done so. But we have lived in community living. We have really been heavily involved in the community gatherings, community cooperations, community collaborations through homeschool, all types of different community settings. So I really wanted to bring it in from this perspective because it's all about, we like to say that we do things for the future of children, but a lot of times we don't involve them. And for everybody that knows me, for the most part, unless I'm in a woman-only setting, he's with me. He is there with me side by side because I am passing not only the things and the wealth that I am building onto him, but I am passing the wealth and the knowledge of sharing and being this practice of unity and community no matter where we go. So I want to bring in his point of view of what it looks like living and moving through community, whether it be to collaborate or to, which you're going to go through in any relationship to resolve conflict. So we can start a little bit talking about our first community setting. Oh man, I guess it was when I first started in the house that we had in Greensboro. I brought in a couple of people. I started like doing Airbnb, and then I brought in people from the community, and it was rough. We had a couple of different tries. Then we brought family up. Family would come in and out. Friends would come in and out, but mostly we had family that stayed there for long periods of time. And then we went into a different community setting where it was intergenerational, which means that, what does intergenerational mean?
It's people of all ages.
Yeah, people of different ages.
Yeah.
We were still in a family setting, but when we went across country, we went to go live with my brother and his wife and her family, and so it was 11 of us in that house.
Yeah, a lot.
When I had our community living setting, when my sister and her family stayed with us, and we had other people coming in and out, it was maybe about 6 to 8 of us in and out at that time. So we went from just the two of us to three of us, and then it was like 5 or 6, and it was 11. We went across country. And then when we came back and went to Greensboro, we lived in a more intentional setting where it was people from the community that we were living together. It wasn't blood related at all. And it was, how many of us? 6, 7?
I think
about
around
6 or 7 of us
yeah.
in that setting. In the course of those several years, we also did community collaboration co-ops with our homeschool group. We founded a homeschool group with another community member, and we collaborated with about 5 or 6 different homeschool parents in the community, which was just melanated, was called Melanated and Educated, where we collaborated. So we kind of built that up as well. And then what other? We've done all different co-ops. We help to kind of build the foundations for a women's co-op, which he was also part of.
You were in
in
the
some
triad
ways.
for a little bit, like
In
the
the-
homeschool triad.
Yeah.
Homeschool group.
Yeah, we did that for a while. That was before we did our own
Yeah.
collaboration group. So we've been part of co-ops in different ways. Even we've done community gardening co-ops as well. We participated in that, where he would go and help to facilitate. Both of us would do so. So we've done things.
Yeah. little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Kwanzaa, a little bit of everything. So, so we, have been heavily involved in that. And it's been a process and a journey. When I first started talking about community living, it was several years ago, just in communication as I was learning to build this, at that time, Afro-centered community. I was in lifestyle. I was, trying to figure out how it would look to involve the community in my child rear, because I was raising him, as a single mother, and I always wanted to have males and other people in his life. But also I wanted to really get into what it's like to have a community to be able to economically be able to help each other with resources and, food and basic needs type of thing. So I didn't have a really good framework for it. We didn't know anybody at the time that was doing this before we were. It was something we just kind of dived into, especially because I was at a situation where I was building my business. I wasn't bringing in a lot of money. I was in school full time, in graduate school, and I had to figure out how to, pay rent. So I started, doing Airbnb in between when I would bring guests into the house. And then my sister and brother came up. The conflicts and through conflict, resolution had to come in. It was more about sometimes sitting down and understanding that the more we go through these different stages and the more we actually went through these experiences, the more clarity we got about what we do want and what we don't want. Because again, we didn't have any framework for it. So
helps you understand both sides of the spectrum also.
Yeah. So we really had to kind of figure it out as we go. And I think that's what a lot of us are doing in community. We're figuring out as we go. We have some frameworks, but a lot of the times we're weaving through. We're trying to figure out like you do in a garden or like you do in any space. You're trying to figure out what grows here, what doesn't grow, what grows together, what helps support each other in the growth, and that's kind of how we just deal with things. Things weren't always pleasant. It's not easy at all living with people, whether it's your family, whether it's whoever, whether it's people that you think you have like minds with, like
you
lifestyle.
Have the energy for it also.
Yeah, you definitely have to have an energy for it. So can you expound a little bit more about what you mean by having the energy?
So me myself, I wouldn't exactly call myself like a people person exactly. So being around a whole bunch of people, I usually don't really engage in conversation as much. And so throughout like these experiences of me living in like a collective community, it kind of not really pushed me, but intrigued me more to like socialize and connect with the community, because I saw that they were doing something great. And so or
it would push you, because there was a lot of times where you didn't have a choice,
like,
especially when there's little ones in the house. They would just bust in the room, because he was one of the oldest ones in the house. So they would just come into the room, and then when you're sharing the house, you really don't have a space to yourself. Your room might be, but when you have little ones, not too much, because they don't have boundaries. They don't have the same type of boundaries. That we have. So when it comes to and it's living with people with different conditions and upbringings themselves, can come a challenge. So not just living with them. Think of that, what that looks like into a community setting. So we took this macrocosm of like being and working in community, and we brought it into the house, which made it really, really, really microscopic. And a lot of the issues that you might have in community were now stuck under one household. So
bottled up.
And so a lot of things, some of the things that we did, whether we've done it outside of community and in the home setting, is we did a lot of meetings. Especially in the last community setting. It was something that I'm thankful for, because I wish that would have been brought into a little bit sooner into the framework. But we did weekly, bi-weekly meetings where we would sit down as a house together. We would sit down as a group together. We've had we've been in settings, even in like the co-ops that we did when we did the homeschool co-ops. I would make sure that we would have like monthly meetings. So really meetings, and that looks like it can look like a session to where like nothing's getting done sometimes. Sometimes it can look like, a lot of frustration. But we really did try to, have, key bullet points in which we were going to be talking about and discussing with and making plans together. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. But I think the most important thing that I've learned about when working, whether working in community in collaboration with other people through either my work, my business, through, a community project that we're trying to do together, or whether we're working in community settings, is to not attach to the expectation of the outcome. So although, like at our last setting, we said, we were really expecting to be together for a long time, longer time than what we were. We were only together for a year, but
the household itself was, alchemy. The alchemy house.
Yeah. So
that's only like a phase. It's preparing you for something bigger.
And also recognizing the names are very important because they play a strong vibration in what's actually going to happen through the collaboration. So really, not being attached to okay, we're gonna stick this through. We're gonna be, and all these key members are gonna stay here and do this. And it's not always gonna be that way because a lot of people are going to be fluid. Some people are going to be anchors, but some people are going to be fluid. They're going to come in and out. They're going to come and play their, embark with their knowledge and skills and things that they have to bring to the community, bring their medicine to the community, and then they have to go. They have to flow. They have to keep going. And I think that's definitely one thing that I've learned about myself personally, is I come into it now letting people know, look, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, and I don't want you to feel unstable about that, because I'm definitely here to bring some stability, but I know the way that I work and the way that the spirit works through me is that I'm here to flow through, to teach, to receive as a conduit, to give, and then to keep going into the next, wherever I have to flow into the next. And that could look like 4 years, or that could look like 6 months, which I have done both. So so not attaching to it and letting people be free, to express themselves without harm. Sometimes it can be, people can create unsafe spaces for other people, and really one of the major things that I learned is really being upfront and expressive about that.
Setting boundaries.
And you want to be, you want to say that, if a space feels unsafe or has become unsafe for you or for someone else, that's something that definitely needs to be talked about and brought up. So what else? And the resolute, like from your point of view, how has this experience from community living and working in community, what does it look like for you when you see adults trying to live together and build something together? What do you feel like that does for you in your future?
I guess it teaches me, not I guess, but it teaches me how to network around people I'll meet later on in my life. Like say if I don't have a house or something yet, then, and if I want to like sleep over my friend's house or something, then it teaches me how to like communicate to them or what I would want from that experience and set boundaries with them, because communication is important. A lot of people, they really don't know how to communicate, and that's what causes the conflict in the first place. So so communication.
So people think, I guess, communication is just you saying what you have to say and I have to say what I have to say
and walking away.
Right, but communication is actually a process. So it is something that feelings are expressed, thoughts and ideas are expressed, emotions are transferred and counter transferred, and all that other stuff plays in a part of communication. But the main communication skills that are needed, especially for community resolution and community collaboration, is healthy communication.
Yeah.
So healthy communication is, I heard you say, expressing those boundaries. So boundaries are, coming to the table with, look, this is what I have to give. This is what I have to share. And this is about as far as I can go with what that is. And expressing that and really staying firm on that, and then letting them know, okay, this is the time that I have. Really expressing time and energy, like you said, is a very important piece. I remember when I first started doing community collaborations and co-ops, I was given a lot of time and a lot of energy because I was just like, yes, yes, yes. I was just so excited to be working with, with my people and really wanted to build something. But it took away from the alignment that I had and the focus and concentration that I had for my visions or my business or whatever was going on at home. So I guess I say I overextended myself in a lot of times, to the point where I exhausted my own resources and my own time and energy to make something happen in community that at the end of the day I really didn't have a say so on whether or not it was that seed was going to grow, because it wasn't.
You can't really do that though, like especially with a person or a community or just somebody in general who doesn't have room to grow themselves, like a lot of times in groups and stuff and collectives, there's one person trying to grow and the others are like, I don't know, I'm not sure about this, but that sounds good though. So they keep talking about it, but they don't really take the initiative to actually commit to the vision and what they want to do.
So I'm hearing that you definitely do have to have, like aspirations, and actually be doing the work. And that was a major part. It's like, we have a lot of people that want to play part, and rightfully so, because we all want better for ourselves, for our children, and for the world and for our community. But a lot of people don't know how much work that takes, and it really takes. When I say work, I'm not just talking about spending your time and your energy within this community setting, but I'm talking about work on yourself, because it took for me to work on my emotional stability, to work on what my boundaries are, so I wasn't overextending myself and then resenting it afterward. It took for me to work on, bring my spiritual tools into the practice, so when I know I come into spaces, I can sense and feel whether or not I'm supposed to even be a part of this. Because, some things, like I said, we're all excited. We want to help build. But again, going back to the video I was talking about last week, when I'm talking about alignment and focus, and motivation, it's like, what really is the motivation, the underlying motivation for, being working in this particular community setting. And there's so many different community, projects and things happening to where you can pick and choose what aligns with your lifestyle, what aligns with your purpose and your passion. And I think when people just think, okay, well, it's my people, it's Black people, it's whoever, it's my spiritual community, whatever your what am I trying to say, whatever that looks like, it doesn't necessarily mean that it aligns with who you are and what you're supposed to be doing right here and now. So bringing those communication, then also making sure that it's aligned with who you are and your lifestyle and your goals. What else?
I'm trying to think of something.
I mean, one of the things also that I think it's important for children to be able to see is, with how we resolve conflict through communication and everything, is to see the growth. So to see, okay, maybe this setting didn't work, but let's see what we can do to keep this going and not necessarily quitting. I think that was a major part for for me to show you is to say, okay, this is what this looks like when we first started. This was like in the second part. This is what it looks like now. And it's like now that we, have gotten to a different place in our lives and our understanding and clarity about, okay, what my role is in community, what I'm trying to, help you identify as your role. And it becomes more clarified and more and much more brilliant in the way that you're able to bring that into different settings. So and it's powerful when children can see adults bring things to the table and try to work on them together, and then even put up those boundaries up and say, okay, well, this is where I draw the line, and I love you all, but I have to move forward, and to go on to something else.
Yeah, because a lot of times the only communication people really know is like being aggressive or, oh, this is what I got to say and I'm done, and just completely walking away from the situation. But it's actually like maintaining your composure and being present with what the other person has to say exactly. And, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to fully understand them, but what matters is that you're trying, you're taking the effort. So.
Yes, good. And I just realized I really didn't even really introduce you. I just said you're my son. So I'm like, that's all I need to know. No, this is Mark, better known as the Secret Hype Man.
Mm-hmm.
He also has a YouTube channel. I want you to do all too. I'm gonna put his tags on stuff below so you all can follow him on all the social media networks. Yes. But yes, I'm intentionally raising him and guiding him to be his authentic self, his extraordinary authentic self, and he does that through his music, mostly through his music and writing. So I'm grateful. I just wanted to bring him on because he, has been key in watching this, watching community and watching me move through different channels in my life. I just wanted to share that. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So I will be back on, I don't know, maybe after the holiday, but I do want to drop in some recipes for you all for the holiday. It's another question that Christina brought was about eating through the winter and through the fall and how to maintain your health during this season. So I will be dropping some recipes, so look for that. Give thanks, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace.